Hi everyone, welcome back, and in this video I'll be giving you some information on product discovery. So this is only a recap of the full version of the overview of introduction to modern product discovery. It's a talk that was taken by the continuous discovery author Teresa Torres. So if you want to take a look at the entire video, I will provide the link in the description box, but it's a quite about 45 minutes length of a video. So I thought that it'll be good if I can shrink it up to a few minutes so that I can give you the recap, and if you are interested you can click on the link and get to see the entire video. So this is a beautiful video with a lot of information, very much interesting to me, so I thought I can share it with you. So let's get into it. So Teresa Torres first started out saying that when it comes to product discovery, we know that product discovery is all about deciding what to build next. And when you compare that to product development, it's all about building the product. And the product development phase has a very definite goal, which is to ship faster. So earlier it was shipping features and products which was in a yearly base, and also then it reduced to maybe every 6 months, and then it became quarterly releases, and then it came down to weekly releases, and sometimes today teams also do daily releases. But sometimes, though that may not be feasible, but that's sometimes how teams work. So it's very definite what the goals of product development is. You have a goal and teams strive to move towards that goal. But when it comes to product discovery, we know that it's all about deciding what to build next. But when a question is raised, what is the goal of product discovery? It's very much fuzzy. It's not very much clear for teams. So, in order to answer this question of what the goal of product discovery was, Teresa Torres, she took us back a couple of years back as how the evolution of product discovery was. And she says that the most surprising thing for product discovery is that it evolved along the same period as that of product development. Okay, and here's what the evolution looked like. So in the early 2000s, okay, so there was this scenario where teams kept building softwares and applications, and an example to imagine that scenario was Microsoft Me, which is a version of the Windows 98. So this was kind of released in 2000, and then in 2004 Microsoft announced that they won't be supporting this anymore, and in 2006 they ended the support. So what really happened? So Teresa Torres did not really work with the team, but she guesses, like most other teams, what would have happened or what the situation would have been is the team, they would have gathered all the requirements from stakeholders, and they would have this extensive requirements document that gets handed over to the development team. It gets built and it gets launched and it goes to stores, okay, in the form of CDs and stuff like that. And only when it was put into the stores, at that point the team knew that no one wanted to use their product. So it took them so much of time in order to understand that customers do not want to use their product. So this was a lot of effort, time and money that was put in, but it was a failure. So there was this question, unlike like other apart from Microsoft Windows Me, there were many other organizations and teams that were facing the same issue, and they wanted to kind of come together, and they were asking themselves as to how do we avoid flops before developing the entire product, because they came to know what were the consequences and impacts they faced when they built the entire product, but it was not even what customers wanted, or customers were not even ready to buy the product. So that's when a team of people came together in the early 2001, in that period, and it was the rise of the agile mindset, where a team of people came together and they put down the agile manifesto, and it brought a great revolution in the product discovery as well as in the development phase. So initially, people, when they say that they want to get feedback as fast as possible and know that they are building the right product, it meant showing it to their internal stakeholders. So there was a question around that particular lines of, are we building what our stakeholders or the internal stakeholders really want? So this was the question. And long after that, they had a question as, apart from the internal stakeholders, are we building products that our customers know how to use? Okay, so that's the phase where there was a lot of introduction to the rise of experienced designers and interaction designers, and there was these concepts of design thinking, a lot of new trends that came up where experience and interaction designers were really involved and interested and responsible for looking into how customers use the product, how they interact with the product, what's their experience about. And design thinking was another great tool that helped to empathize with the customers, understand what their pain points are, and trying to provide a very customer centric solution. So all this kept coming up along those lines in that period. And after this was in 2012, around this period, was the next phase of product discovery, which is the rise of the lean startup. So it was by the introduction and publication of a book, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries, and of course it was backed up by Steve Blank, The Four Steps to the Epiphany. And all this put together was when the lean startup was popular, and that's when people started asking the question from, are we building products that our customers know how to use, to, are we building what our customers want? So the goal is at this was at this phase was that it's not only good that customers are able to use the product, but is that really what customers want, is the question that people wanted to get answers for. And around this phase, again, there was a lot of questions that was coming up, but this was mostly what people were trying to answer at this particular phase of the evolution period. And in 2016 as well, that was the rise of the jobs to be done framework, where you know from the question, where people, from the question of, are we building what our customers want, people started asking the question of, are we solving the right problems for our customers? So all these questions started coming up because in the end, people wanted to know whether whatever they are building, whether it's actually providing value to their end customers. So that was a question that they kept answering, because no matter how good your product is and you have all these XYZ big bang features with you, if that's not solving the end customer's needs and problems, then it's going to be again a flop. So people wanted to focus on this value, the value that they are delivering, which brings about a sense of what value they are as a product and as an organization are contributing to the society and to the end customers as well. So there was a lot of developments around this particular phase, which was again a great leap in the product discovery evolution. And above all, overall, when you see that, Teresa Torres says that it was a great, couple of years that went by, and a lot of new things coming up, trends, and a lot of frameworks and tools that get to be built, and things that were introduced that helps teams gain more insights into the product discovery and how they get to um, understand and decide what needs to be built next. So with all this in mind, Teresa Torres came down to again 2017, around this time period, where there was a rise of design sprints and OKRs. So, design sprints are nothing but like a 5 day workshop where initially on Monday people didn't know what was the end solution to a problem. But on the fifth day, they have a prototype, and that prototype gets tested with the end users, and they know what the experience and feedback is. So that's about design sprints, and it's all about having a user centric based hypothesis driven product management, where you test out the hypothesis while keeping the user at the center of your full analysis and design thinking and getting things validated. And the second one is the OKRs, which are objective key results. This is all about understanding the key outcomes and align the stakeholders around these outcomes. So when you have a product, it's not just about what feature do we build next. It's not just features. What next feature? What's the next feature? What's the next feature? No, it's not that. So people come to an understanding where instead of focusing more on outputs, it's more of outcomes. What is the outcome of us doing a particular task, of developing this particular piece of work? So it's more about outcomes over output. So teams just no longer focus on output, just features, but they focus on outcomes, on values of doing a particular piece of work. So that was around the lines of this period. So taking all into consideration, there was no big debate on which tool should be used, which framework is the best, and things like that. It's more about how do we use all these frameworks and methodologies in the product discovery phase. And when you look at everything, the core principles under what each um, um, framework that we had seen over the couple of period is that everything underlines down to learn faster. So what do we want to do by asking these different questions? If you go to see, when we ask these questions, are we building what our stakeholders, the internal stakeholders, want? Are we building products that our customers know how to use? Are we building what our customers want? Are we solving the right problems for our customers? All these questions are something that needs to be clarified at some point of time in your product discovery or development, because as and when you start getting these answers to these questions, you have a much more surety of that you are building the right solution for customers, and customers are also showing interest and also would use the solution because it's solving some problem. So the main goal of this product discovery is that you should be able to learn faster in a way that you would be able to gain answers to all these questions. As if you're not able to gain answers to all these questions, there's still going to be some uncertainty whether the product is going to be successful, whether customers are going to adopt to it, or whether people are not going to buy it. Things around those lines, those uncertainties and fuzzy situations would occur. So as we've seen through this series and this evolution of product discovery, is Agile helped us understand the question of, are we building what our stakeholders want? And with the help of Agile, we were able to get that with continuous value delivery and feedback. We get answers to this particular question. In the lean startup, we were able to get answers for, are we building products that our customers know how to use? And in jobs to be done, where you focus more on processes of the end users rather than just focusing on the product and services. So there you get to know what are we building what our customers want? So rather than focusing on the product and services, it's mainly that people want some job to be done. So is your product actually getting that job done for them, or helping them get that job done? Is something that gets answered in this particular phase of jobs to be done? And ultimately, if you see from everything drills down. So initially, teams were more focused on outputs. So they just have to deliver this feature. They just have to push out this product. So if you see, eventually, it's all drilled down from outputs. It's more refined into, instead of teams focusing on outputs, teams start focusing on outcomes. So that's the main goal of product discovery, going through this entire phase, answering different questions about your products, aligning yourself, and then making decisions as what needs to be done next. So the underlying goal is to learn faster during this particular phase. So this was some inputs and recap of that particular video. So I hope that I was able to give you some information on it, but it's definitely not all the information. So I request you, I encourage you to take a look at that video. Really interesting, different perspectives given from Teresa Torres, and all contents that's put here is totally from that video, nothing of my own. So all credits goes to the speech that Teresa Torres had given. So I hope that you got some information on this video that I provided for you. So if you like this video, please do give this a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, and also do share your feedbacks. Thank you.